X-rated loathing for your face. Your voice.
Wicked is set to rule the holiday weekend box office once again. In its first week in theaters, the prequel to The Wizard of Oz raked in over $200 million worldwide. Wicked brings the story of Oz to a whole new generation, but next Saturday, perhaps the most famous prop from the original film goes up for auction. It's something even the Wicked Witch of the West herself would love to get her hands on.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
The Wizard of Oz has enchanted audiences of all ages for the past 85 years.
We wish to welcome you to much Kinland. You're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
An Oscar winner named the most watched movie of all time by the Library of Congress.
That's how we laugh the day away in the merry old land of Oz.
It's also provided a treasure trove of memorabilia for countless collectors.
So you see, there were several different departments that made the shoes.
Like Michael Shaw. The former child star is parting ways with several hot ticket items going up for bid next month, including what many consider the holy grail of Hollywood collectibles, Dorothy's ruby slippers, worn on screen by Judy Garland herself.
Culturally, I think the ruby slippers are the most important film artifact in the world.
Joe Maddalena is the executive vice president of Heritage Auctions and one of the world's leading authorities on the ruby slippers.
They represent hope. People are in awe because so many people, millions and millions of people identify with that movie, right? And there are very few things that bind us, and that's what makes them so special. They're just magical.
Then close your eyes and tap your heels together 3 times.
In 1938, MGM Studios had 7 pairs of them, all size 5.5B.
But how much would you estimate they cost to make?
$75
Back then?
back then.
That was a lot of money back then.
They had to be made by hand. You know, you're talking about studios, unions. They were made by Western costume. So the shoe itself was a off-the-rack shoe, and then they would take into Western costume. You know, these were done by hand.
But of those 7 pairs, only 4 are known to have survived to this day. 1 pair is on display at the Smithsonian's National History Museum in Washington, D.C. Another's at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles. A 3rd pair was purchased by a private collector. And the 4th pair, now up for auction, is currently the property of Shaw.
To say you are a Wizard of Oz uber fan would not be overdoing it.
No, I'm a curator of The Wizard of Oz that wants to keep the magic of that film and everything about it alive to people because it means so much.
Shaw's ruby reds, obtained from a former MGM wardrobe man, are also famous in their own right. They made worldwide headlines when they were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, while on loan from Shaw in 2005.
They're gone.
Someone had smashed through the back door at night. The police said they were in and out in 2 minutes. They grabbed the shoes and took off. Literally, my knees buckled when I got the news on the telephone.
The shoes remained missing for 13 years, despite having a $1 million reward.
Under the rainbow.
Until 2018, when the Grand Rapids Police Department, with help from the FBI, finally recovered the stolen slippers after a sting operation.
It's like welcoming back an old friend. The schnook that did steal them thought he could get the reward money if he took them right to the FBI.
Now, 6 years later, Shaw has decided to part ways with the ruby slippers for a second time.
Will it be hard for you to part with them?
No. I'm hoping that whoever buys them has the courtesy to loan them to a museum or put them on display somewhere where people can enjoy them. I mean, look at them. They're fantastic.
And ironically, one of the museums vying for the shoes is the scene of the crime, the Judy Garland Museum, which has started a fundraising campaign to prove there's no place like home.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
But how much will the museum have to collect in order to put up the winning bid?
You're expecting these to go for?
$3 to $5 million, but I mean, it's hard to tell. Right now they're at $1.1 million on our website in pre-bidding. So I would not be surprised if they brought 3 to 5, but they could bring 10. I mean, they're so incredibly important.